Shalom. Today we're going to do Genesis 31 through Genesis 35. And he heard the word of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father he has made all this wealth. And Jacob would look at the face of Laban and see that it was not toward him as before. And Yahweh said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I am with you. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flock, and said to them, I see your father's face, that it is not toward me as before, but the Elohim of my father has been with me, and you know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim did not allow him to do evil to me. When he said this, the speckled are your wages, then all the flock bore speckled. And when he said this, the streaked are your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked. So Elohim has taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me. And it came to be at the time when the flocks conceived that I lifted my eyes and looked in a dream and saw that the rams which leaped upon the flocks were streaked, speckled, and mottled. And the messenger of Elohim spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob, and I, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift your eyes now and see, all the rams which leap on the flocks are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the El of Bethel, where you anointed the standing column, and where you made a vow to me. Now rise up, get out of this land, and return to the land of your relatives. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Do we still have any portion of inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as strangers? For he has sold us, and also entirely consumed our silver. For all the wealth which Elohim has taken from our father is now ours and our children's. Now then, do whatever Elohim has told you. So Jacob rose and put his sons and his wives on camels, and he drove off all his livestock and all his possessions which he had acquired, his property of the livestock which he had acquired in Padan Aram, to go to his father Yitzchak in the land of Canaan. And when Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel stole the house idols that were her father's. And Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean because he did not inform him that he was about to flee. And he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and headed toward the mountains of Gilead. And on the third day Laban was told that Jacob had fled. Then he took his brothers with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey. And he overtook him in the mountain of Gilead. But in a dream by night Elohim came to Laban the Aramean and said to him, Guard yourself, that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brothers pitched in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What have you done, that you have deceived me, and driven my daughters off like captives taken with the sword? Why did you flee secretly and deceive me, and not inform me? And I would have sent you away with joy and songs, with tambourine and lyre. And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have been foolish to do this. It is in the power of my hand to do evil to you, but the Elohim of your father spoke to me last night, saying, Guard yourself, that you do not speak to Jacob either good or evil. And now you have gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why did you steal my mighty ones? And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Lest you tear your daughters away from me. With whomever you find your mighty ones, do not let him live. In the presence of our brothers, see for yourselves what is with me, and take it with you. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went to Jacob's tent, and to Leah's tent, and to the tents of the 2 female servants, but he did not find them. And he came out of Leah's tent, and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the house idols, and put them in the camel's saddle, and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my master that I am unable to rise before you, for the way of women is with me. And he searched, but did not find the house idols. And Jacob was wroth and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, What is my transgression? What is my transgression? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Now that you have searched all my goods, what have you found of all your household goods? Set it here before my brothers and your brothers, and let them decide between the two of us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried their young, and I have eaten the rams of your sheep. That which was torn by beast I did not bring to you. I myself bore the loss of it. You required it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. By day the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock. And you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the Elohim of my father, the Elohim of Abraham, and the fear of Yitzchak had been with me, you would have now seen sent you would now have sent me away empty handed. Elohim has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands and rendered judgment last night. And Laban and he gave him what for right there. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this flock is my flock, and all that you see is mine. But what shall I do today to these my daughters or to their children, whom they have not borne? And now come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and it shall be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a standing column. And Jacob said to his brothers, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there on the heap. And Laban called it Yagar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Galed. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me today. That is why its name was called Galed. Also Mitzpah, because he said, let Yahuwah watch between you and me when we are concealed from one another. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take other wives beside my daughters, although no man is with us, see, Elohim is witness between you and me. And Laban said to Jacob, see this heap and see this standing column which I have placed between you and me. This heap is a witness, and standing column is a witness, that I do not pass beyond this heap to you, and you do not pass beyond this heap and this standing column to me for evil. The Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Nahor, and the Elohim of their father rightly rule between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Yitzchak, and Jacob slaughtered a slaughtering on the mountain, and called his brothers to eat bread. And they ate bread and spent the night on the mountain. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and kissed his sons and daughters and blessed them. And Laban left and returned to his place. And Jacob went on his way, and the messenger of Elohim met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is the camp of Elohim. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the field of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, say this to my master Esau, your servant Jacob said this, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. And I have bulls and donkeys, flocks, and male and female servants, and I have sent to you inform my master to find favor in your eyes. So the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to your brother Esau, and he also is coming to meet you, and 400 men with him. And Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. So he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and herds and camels, into two groups. And he said, if Esau comes to the one group and strikes it, then the other group which is left shall escape. And Jacob said, O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Yitzchak, Yahuwah who said to me, return to your land and to your relatives, and I do good to you. I do not deserve the least of all the loving commitment and all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I passed over the Jordan with my staff, and now I have become two groups. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and shall strike me and the mother with the children. For you said, I shall certainly do good to you, and shall make your seed as the sand of the sea, which are too numerous to count. And he spent the night there, and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother, 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 suckling camels with their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 foals. And he gave into the hands of his servants every drove by itself, and said to his servants, Pass over before me, and put some distance between drove and drove. And he commanded that the first one, saying, When Esau my brother meets you, and asks you, saying, To whom do you belong, and where are you going, and where are these, and whose are these in front of you? Then you shall say, They are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my master Esau, and see, he also is behind us. So he commanded the second and the third, and all who followed the droves, saying, Speak to Esau the same word when you find him. And you shall say, Also, look, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, Let me appease him that with the present that goes before me, and after that see his face, he might accept me. And the present passed over before him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford of Jabbok. And he took them, and sent them over the stream, and sent over what he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he did not overcome him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was dislocated as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I am not letting you go until you have blessed me. So he asked him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Your name is no longer Jacob, but Yisrael, because you have striven with Elohim and with men, and have overcome. And Jacob asked him, saying, Please let me know your name. And he said, Why do you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And the sun rose on him, and he passed over Peniel, and he lived on his hip. That is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is in the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of the thigh of Jacob in the sinew of the hip. And Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and saw Esau coming with him 400 men. And he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the 2 female servants. And he put the female servants and their children in front, and Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. And he himself passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes, and saw the women and children, and said, Who are these with you? And he said, The children with whom Elohim has favored your servant. Then the female servants came near, they and their children, and bowed themselves. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed themselves. And Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed themselves. And Esau said, What do you mean by all this company which I met? And he said, To find favor in the eyes of my master. But Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours. And Jacob said, No, please. If I have now found favor in your eyes, then receive my presents from my hand, because I have seen your face like seeing the face of Elohim, and you were pleased with me. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because Elohim has favored me, and because I have all I need. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, Let us depart and go, and let me go before you. But he said to him, My master knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock shall die. Please let my master go before his servant, and let me lead on slowly according to the pace of the livestock that go before me, and according to the pace of the children, until I come to my master in Seir. And Esau said, Please let me leave with you some of the people who are with me. But he said, Why this? Let me find favor in your eyes of my master. And Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. And Jacob set out to Sukkot, and built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. That is why the name of the place is called Sukkot. And Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city. And he bought the portion of the field where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 kesita. And he set up a slaughter place there, and called it El Elohe Israel. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the land, saw her, and took her, and lay with her, and humbled her. And his being clung to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the girl, and spoke kindly to the girl. And Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, Take this girl from me for a wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob kept silent until they came. And Hamor the father of Shechem went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very wroth, because he had done a senseless deed in Israel, by lying with Jacob's brother, which should not be done. Had done a senseless deed in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, which should not be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, My son Shechem's being longs for your daughter. Please give her for a wife, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves, and dwell with us, and let the land be before you. Dwell and move about in it, and have possessions in it. And Shechem said to her father and her brother, Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I give. Ask for me a bride price and gift ever so high, and I give according to what you say to me. But give me the girl for a wife. But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor and his father, and spoke with deceit, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to him, We are not able to do this matter, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. Only on this condition would we agree to you. If you become as we are, to have every male of you circumcised, then we shall give our daughters to you, and take your daughters to us, and we shall dwell with you, and shall become one people. But if you do not listen to us, and be circumcised, we shall take our daughter and go. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem and Hamor's son. And the young man did not delay to do this, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. Now he was more respected than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem his son came to the gate of their city, and spoke with the men of their city, saying, These men are at peace with us, so let them dwell in the land and move about in it. And see, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters for us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition would the men agree to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Their herds and their possessions and all their peace, should they not be ours? Only let us agree with them, and let them dwell with us. And all who went out of the gate of this city listened to Hamor and Shechem, his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. And it came to be on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Shimon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword, and came boldly upon the city, and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds and their donkeys, and all which was in their city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and they plundered all that was in their house. And Jacob said to Shimon and Levi, You have troubled me by making me a stench among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I am few in number. They shall gather themselves against me, and shall strike me, and I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they said, Should he treat our sister like a whore? And Elohim said to Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make a slaughter place there to El, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother. And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, Put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you, and cleanse yourself, and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Bethel. And let me make there a slaughter place to El, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone. So they gave Jacob all the foreign mighty ones which were in their hands, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree which was near Shechem. And they departed, and the fear of Elohim was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built there a slaughter place, and called the place El Beth El, because there Elohim appeared to him when he fled from the face of his brother. And Deborah, Ribkah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel, under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Alon Bakuth. And Elohim appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram, and blessed him. And Elohim said to him, Your name is Jacob. Your name is no longer called Jacob, but Israel is your name. So he called his name Israel. And Elohim said to him, I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and increase. A nation and a company of nations shall be from you, and sovereigns come from your body. In the land which I gave Abraham and Yitzchak, I give to you. And to your seed after you I give this land. And Elohim went up from him in the place where he had spoken from him. And Jacob set up a standing column in the place where he had spoken with him, a monument of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spoke with him, Bethel. Then they set out from Bethel, and it came to be when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, that Rachel began to give birth, and had great difficulty giving birth. And it came to be, as she was having great difficulty giving birth, that the midwife said to her, Do not fear, for it is another son for you. And it came to be, as her life was going out, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a standing column on her burial place, which is the monument of Rachel, buried to this day. And Israel set out and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. And it came to be, when Israel dwelt in the land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Shimon, and Levi, and Yehudah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's female servant, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's female servant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob, who were born to him in Padan Aram. And Jacob came to his father Yitzchak at Mamre, or Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Yitzchak had sojourned. And the days of Yitzchak were 180 years. So Yitzchak breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, aged and satisfied of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Well, as always, thank you for your time. Hope you have a wonderful day. May the Father bless you, and keep you, and make his face to shine upon you. Amen.